Welcome back. And I have to say, every time I want to do a video, it seems like my allergies or my sinuses are going crazy. Uh, I cut my grass last night because we're going to get some rain. So um, it is what it is. You might hear me sneeze or sniffle, and my voice is doing whatever it's doing. But it seems like every time I want to do a video, this happens, but it is what it is. So I did say that on a community post, that I wanted to put out a video starting Monday, like a series on domestic violence, since, May is Mental Health Awareness Month and October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And to me, they can go hand in hand, right? And I wanted to, share my story and my journey. And, well, this is already Thursday, and this has been a very busy work week, and I just haven't had a chance to do that. So, yeah, I can make community posts, but, those are quick. So, um, I'm going to try to start that next week. I'm still going to cover that. I think it's very important. And, I am going to share my story. If it helps one person, then to me it's worth it. So, yeah, I am going to do that. And I also said that um, I'm going to cover a few other topics that I am falling behind on. Okay. It's already happened in this drama circle, and I'm behind because I have to go around my work schedule and go around some other things that I got going on in real life. Um, I do videos when I'm able to do them. And then I wanted to do something different with my channel. I wasn't sure exactly what. I had some ideas, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk about some behaviors when they happen, but not talking about them as much. It's kind of like picking your battles, right? Um, that's what I have done from day one. It's on my about section that I'm interested in behaviors on social media, and this is what I've done since I started my channel. Now, I have done other videos. I call them my cheesy videos, cooking or craft videos. I've made like bath bombs and, uh, you know, face scrubs, sugar masks, stuff like that. But I haven't done uh, many of those lately. It's been more about what has happened in this drama circle, right? The behaviors and stuff. And I wanted to kind of get away from all the drama and all the negativity. Now, it doesn't mean that if something doesn't come up that I'm not going to talk about it, because I'm still going to do that. Some people might say, well, you're stalking a channel or whatever. They can say that if they want, but that's what I have done from day one. Um, Talk about behaviors. It's not that I don't like someone, because I don't know people, right? I don't have a beef with anybody. Um, I'm not involved with anything that is happening out in this drama circle. So that isn't the truth that I don't like somebody. Is it that I don't like some of the behaviors? Absolutely. Some of the behaviors are insane. They're gross. But to say that I don't like somebody, no. If I don't know you, you know, how can I not like you? I don't know you as a person. I've never met you. just because you act a certain way on social media, I mean, you could be putting up a fake front to impress. I mean, I don't know. But some, like I said, might say that I stalk this channel or stalk that channel. To me, we're all kind of like public figures here, right? So if your channel is out there for the public, I don't know what to tell you. I do go from channel to channel. I might not see everybody's stuff, and I might not, I've already said it before, I don't watch things all the way through, and I do miss stuff. It is what it is. I'm one person. But I'm going to kind of, pick my battles, so, sort of speak, instead of talking about it all the time. I want things to be a little bit different. Maybe a fun place to go, different things to do, because there's so much negativity. And I do know that, some creators have walked away in the last year, that, I've noticed they've walked away from YouTube completely, or they walked away and they've came back. I noticed that some subs have walked away, or they won't listen to any of the drama stuff. They'll listen to other stuff that has nothing to do with drama, because many have said that all this drama is affecting their mental health. So that's why I want to focus more on having fun here. And like I said, I will cover some things, if it's major and it comes up. So I want to get these videos out of the way, and then just, see what happens. So yeah, and I'm going to be doing, my camping and, hiking and stuff like that. I'll be covering that. I'm going to be making hopefully some trips this summer, just kind of covering that. But doing some fun things. Like I said, I talked about it before. It just didn't happen. But I will be updating on what I think I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks here, because I'll know for sure more about that. But let's just jump into this video, because I'm going to try to, since I have the day off today and I did get some of my outside work done, I am going to try to make several videos and release them. Hopefully they get released tonight, tomorrow. They might trickle out. I have an old cooking video that I seen was just sitting, or it was just sitting there. I haven't released it. I don't know why I didn't release it. I'm going to release that as well. But I'm going to try to get those out so I can move on. Okay. So I'm going to talk about several things on this video. The first thing that I'm going to talk about, and like I said, I am behind, and this stuff has already happened, and some people have moved on from it, but I just haven't had a chance to go over it. The first thing would be the memorial video that Angela put out on Tiffany. And Tiffany is Crafton's ex-wife. And I'm not going to talk much about this. I'm just going to give some of my opinions on it, a few facts. But I never had any conversations with Tiffany, okay? I did not know her. I mean, I really don't know anybody, okay, personally, but I did see Tiffany make comments in this community, okay? So she was a part of this community. She did have conversations with people here, all right? Now, I have to say that I do not know how she came here. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know for sure. I mean, people have said what happened or how she came here. But I don't know for sure if she is the one that reached out, or if people reached out to her. From what I have been hearing, she reached out to other people. Okay. Again, that's just what I have heard. I'm not putting that out as a fact because I don't know that as a fact. But she wanted her story to be told. Now, when I say she wanted her story to be told, we are talking about domestic violence. Now, I have heard myself Kim talking about Tiffany. She also talked about Sarah. Now, this has been, a little while ago, very negatively, okay? And Sarah was Crafton's ex-girlfriend. Now, his ex-girlfriend was the one he was, to back this up a little bit, the first time that I ever even heard of these ladies at all was listening to Natasha, because Natasha made a comment that Crafton was still married, had a girlfriend and another girlfriend. Okay, this was way back. And what she was talking about was Crafton was still married to Tiffany, and he left his girlfriend, Sarah, for a new girlfriend, Kim, because it was kind of like a joke, right? That's what she was saying. And I don't know. Because she was making it known that Kim drove many miles and hours to go pick up Crafton at the girlfriend's house. It wasn't an ex-girlfriend at the time. He was living with her. I guess they met on YouTube, Kim and Crafton, right? And he was living with this woman, Sarah, but yet he was still married to Tiffany. So, anyways, I'm thinking to myself, as this is all going on, why is this all being brought to YouTube? This is personal stuff, right? I always say that personal stuff should not be brought to YouTube. I don't care who you are. But Kim has also drugged these women, both of them, okay? Because both of these women, she has said very colorful things about both of these women. Now, that's understandable, I guess, because, exes talk bad about each other. Sometimes that happens. I shouldn't say understandable, but sometimes that happens, right? They do. They're going to talk horrible about each other. It is what it is, especially if someone comes home and they have a Dear Jane letter, I guess you would say, and their significant other takes off with somebody on, that they met on YouTube, on the net, whatever. I mean, and that woman that now has the man, there's going to be some, hurt feelings there. There's going to be some, haha, I got the man and you don't, there's going to be whatever. But I heard Kim way back, talking very poorly about both of these women, okay? Now, we all know what happened last year between Kim and Crafton. As much as she wants to say he was in the hospital, he was in jail. I did a video because I was led to believe by something totally different. And my son suffers from epilepsy, and I'm around people that have epilepsy. And when I did that video for Kim and Crafton, I mean, they didn't ask me to or anything like that, but they thanked me for doing the video at the time. And I did not see or hear about all the charges, okay? Because if I did, I would have never done that video. You nurses out there, okay, that support Kim and Crafton, you know that some of the charges that are on there wouldn't be possible. But they're still sticking with that narrative that he was in the hospital. No. Even though it says that he was in jail. Okay, if you still want to stick with that lie, whatever. And some of the things that he's charged with that I did not know at the time, impossible. Impossible. When you come out of a seizure, out of that deep sleep, right? Or out of a seizure, you're not going to be able to do those things, okay? So we're not even going to go over that, all right? That's the story they're sticking with. And there was charges. They want to say that it's closed. It looks like it might not be, that it still might be open. Their business, I guess, but they brought that to YouTube too. Well, actually, no. Well, they kind of did, because Kim made a community post stating that Crafton was basically, I don't want to say on his deathbed, could be. The way she phrased it as, they did not know if he was going to regain control of a lot of things, if he was going to be functional, okay? That's the way she put it in her community post. So yes, she did bring it to YouTube, because the smart thing would have been, because they weren't going live every day. They were doing lives maybe once a week, if that. So the smart thing would have been was just not to go live at all until he got out of jail, and then go live, and nobody would have thought anything of it, and not have had a fund up. They said the mod did it, not to have a fund up for his medical bills, whatever. They said they didn't get anything out of that fund. Who knows? But that would have been the smart move. But there are people they sit with now are the ones that dug in to find out that he actually was in jail and arrested for domestic violence on Kim, which she's still a victim of, okay? But they're playing games with that right now. They're playing games. We're going to talk about that more when I share my story and talk about domestic violence. But they're playing games with that. But the people they sit with is the one that sent it to Natasha. And she is the one that said, hey, he was in jail. But anyways, moving on. There was a lot of negative talk. And these two women, his ex-girlfriend and his now ex-wife, who was his wife at the time, were talking. They came out and they had a voice, and they're like, this man abused us as well. He Kim is telling lies about us. He's abusive. And this is what he did to us. This is what he did. This Tiffany, his ex-wife, this is what he did to me. This is my story. And they degraded her, called her a liar, yada, yada, did whatever. But we're going to leave Sarah out of it. But I did see some of Tiffany. I didn't really, I never commented or said anything or anything like that. But I did see her. She did talk to people in this community, and she made friends with a few people in this community, okay? So she she passed away. What was it, last week? Okay. And I was listening to Kim and Crafton's live. And during that live is when Crafton found out about it. And in my opinion, he seemed to be kind of taken back by it, a little bit upset. Because no matter what, when you have an ex that passes away, even if you have some hard feelings, you have a history there, right? So this is someone he once loved, someone he shared his life with. So he to me, he just, I don't know, he seemed like he might have been a little, taken back. But instead of maybe ending that live and letting, him process it, Kim just, kept it going. And she did put out there basically that this woman passed away from a drug overdose and that she had an addiction and that she would take money from anybody, that people were using her to get information and this and that and whatever. Now, Crafton didn't say much there. It was the next day where he kind of went along with, in my opinion, degrading this woman who passed away, right? And was putting out all this information. Now, I never heard about her having an addiction. Now, Kim might have said this before, and I just didn't hear it because, she dogs people. She doesn't care what... She says that basically anybody that she doesn't like has an addiction. I hear that quite often, right? Take pills, or, you're addicted to this, addicted to that, whatever. But this woman did have IPF, and IPF is fatal. There's no cure. And they knew this. They knew that Tiffany would pass from this. I mean, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. And Tiffany went to the hospital that night and got sent home. And they said that she was on oxygen and this and that. And they were talking about, Kim was saying she didn't have family and she didn't have friends in real life. And how sad is that? She didn't even have kids. She didn't even have a husband. Well, she did until recently, but it was clear that she didn't want to be married. And that gets me too. Some people choose not to have children for whatever reason, or they can't have kids. It doesn't make them less than, right? It doesn't. A lot of people choose not to have children, or they just can't have kids. A lot of people choose to be single. You don't have to have a man in your life to be complete. Okay? You don't. Or a woman, or a partner. You can be single. I mean, some people, I guess, think they have to be, codependent on somebody. And after someone that's been married twice for, since I was 17, married to one for 15 years, married to the other for 8. I don't know, being single. I mean, I have a man now, but being single for a little bit afterwards, it was a beautiful thing. Scary at first because you're used to, I don't know, maybe I have it, having someone there all the time, but it's a beautiful thing. to degrade somebody because you think that they don't have a partner. I mean, how do you really know? And she said that, this Tiffany didn't have any real friends because she she was in this chat, this hell chat that I don't even want to get started on this chat, okay? But she made a comment in there. I don't know when, if it was like right before she passed, but she did say she was on her deathbed and basically telling everybody, you know, be good to each other. Time is precious. And Kim is like, basically, how sad is that? That's all the people that she had. Well, her page, her Facebook, is basically, it's kind of different. It's not just like your Facebook. It's like a public, um, what do you call it? A public, like a follower, like a public figure type of thing. Okay, people know that I'm tech stupid, but it's different than like a private, Facebook page. You could follow somebody, um, but they have a lot of followers or whatever. You could see all their pictures and everything that they write. It's kind of like a public figure type thing. So that's what she had. And you could tell that she had quite a few people that cared about her. Now, does that mean she had, a lot of friends in real life that were there by her side? I don't know. Does Kim know? She doesn't know. Was she there? I mean, they live in different states, right? Was Kim good friends with her? No. Was Crafton? No. You could tell they weren't. And then Kim put her last name up there when she was doing a community post. To me, that was kind of degrading. Now, she wants to say that, Angela did a memorial video. Okay? And basically making it out to be like a degrading video to this woman who passed. And, who knows if Crafton reached out to this family, to her family or not. And I don't know if she had an outing with the family because, I'm sorry, I've caught Kim in several lies that she has told. I'm not going to go over those right now, but, she has. She's told several lies. I mean, the big whammy is about Crafton being in the hospital. Okay? He was in jail. And, just kind of ironic, it's been over a year and a half. It doesn't seem like he's had a seizure, right? Could be possible. You can go that long and not have an issue, but, he had a seizure disorder. I don't know. Doesn't seem to have any issues now. I mean, that's a good thing. I hope he doesn't have any more. Now, I do believe that because he did have a TBI, I don't believe that, he didn't make that up. That's true. But, and we heard, the phone call, with Voices and Crafton. Yeah. That's, I'm sorry. Try to spin that any way you want. Okay. But now I lost my train of thought. But she knew, I don't even know where I was when I got off of that thing, but let's just go back to this woman. You could tell that she did not use the Barnes name. Now, that was her legal name, right? But she didn't use it. For whatever reason, maybe she didn't have the money to change it. I know in my state, when you get divorced, you do not have to pay to have your last name changed. And I know laws are different in every state, but she did not use that last name. But the degrading is Kim typed out her name with Barnes, big, caps. And she's like, that's what she's going to be cremated as, or that's what she said in her live. But she knew this woman did not like that last name. She knew that. And she did not go by that last name. And if that woman would still be alive, we all know that Kim would not be using that last name for her, right? We know that. She would be using the other name because that's Kim's last name now. She owns that last name. So to me, that was kind of degrading to this woman's memory, knowing that she would not want that name because of the messages that the people that she did make friends with, right, in this community, that they read out and that we have seen these messages. And the way she talks about Kim and Crafton, telling her story, she did not like these two people at all. She did not. She was not close to them. So, like I said, that's where I left off when Kim said that, now Crafton is reaching out to the family. I think she said because, lies were told or whatever. Maybe she is saying, that Tiffany was telling lies about Crafton. There's police reports. Okay? Police reports that Tiffany had. And I think that one I seen, I think the Sarah had one too. Now you have 3 because Kim has one too. 3 different women with police reports on Crafton, on domestic violence issues. Now, let me tell you, women can make up stories. We're going to talk about that when I talk about my domestic violence and my journey, okay, of survival. Because I don't call myself a victim. No, I don't. I call myself a survivor of DV because I am. I'm no victim of it. Not anymore. But if he reached out to this family and he's saying this and that, there's proof. You have her story that this happened, but you have, police reports and they're saying, I can't remember now, but what was on it that was shown. And maybe that wouldn't have been brought to YouTube if Kim wasn't talking about them and they decided, I need to get my story out. I need a voice. I'm not going to be degraded for the world to hear. I don't know, right? Like I said, I don't think personal stuff should be brought to YouTube. But if someone's going to degrade you and call you a liar, and you're not even on YouTube, or maybe you were. I don't know if these ladies were on YouTube because Crafton was. Were they his partners at one time? I don't know. That I don't know. But anyways, you have people giving him condolences, okay? Now, I have to say, with my ex, he's gone. He's deceased. Everybody that watches me knows that. Last year, he unlived himself in front of my children. And yes, I am going to be sharing things that puts him in a very bad light about what he did. But we were on good terms when he passed. We've been on good terms for a long time, even though there was setbacks. I ain't gonna lie, and you'll hear that when I tell my story. There were setbacks because of things he did or said, but we were still on good terms. I'm still, on with him on Facebook. My children aren't friends with him on Facebook. They have control of his account now, of course, but they deleted him and blocked him because of his behavior, but I never did. I was still friends with him on Facebook. I still have all of his text messages. We would still text back and forth about the kids, but I'll explain all that when I share my story. But with Kim and Crafton, it's clear from these messages that they weren't close, but like these condolences, that's what I was getting at. I did post on Facebook with my ex that he was gone and what happened, but I waited until my children posted that their father was gone and what happened. And the reason why I posted is my ex and I still had some mutual friends from back when, okay? And they, some of the mutual friends that we, I should say that we knew from back when, he started a different Facebook or whatever, and he didn't have some of them on there. So I did post what happened. But like I said, I waited until after my kids were ready and they already posted. And then I posted. And when I was getting the I'm sorry for your loss, I didn't know what to put because I felt like, I don't want you, it's not my loss. It's my children's loss, but it's really not my loss. He was my ex-husband and they knew what I went through with him. But I felt, I didn't even want to put, I felt weird even putting thank you. I felt some sort of way, if that makes any sense. I didn't want them to put sorry for your loss because that just felt weird to me. And I even put that on Facebook that because they knew because they were around when this stuff was happening. They knew what I went through. And it's hard to explain. I felt so weird when they were saying, I'm sorry for your loss. But then, like they said, it is kind of your loss because he still was the father of your children. You still spent, 15 years with them. But to me, those were bad. There was more bad than good. There wasn't that many good. Okay? But the most important thing is he was still the father of my children. And I was going to have to be there for my kids on what they were going through. And we were on good terms. We were on good terms. And it's still kind of hard to believe that he's gone. But like I said, I felt so weird and strange when they would put sorry for your loss. It just didn't feel right for them to put that. That's how I should say or word it. It just didn't feel right. But like I said, when Kim is saying that Crafton is notified, talking to the family and they wanted this video taken down. Now this video, all Angela did was get pictures from a public, not a private, a public page, and this woman sang like an angel. Another public page, and she put her music, her singing, to these pictures of her, right? That's all she did, and made a tribute or a memorial for her. It was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And she had an amazing voice. She was a beautiful woman. And this really upset Kim, I think more so than Crafton, okay? So they struck it. It might have upset Crafton, but I would say more so Kim. Now, they say that Crafton produced that music. Someone else wrote it. It was all Tiffany singing it, okay? But because Crafton produced it, now that could be true. He could have. He could have produced it. That could be a fact. They struck it for copyright. We all know that Kim is the queen of striking. Of anything and everything. She even admits to it, okay? But they had a problem with this, and they even said that the family wanted this taken down. Now, I think it's, they said that the family is not even on YouTube, so how would the family know, number one? And why would Kim and Crafton go to the family who just lost their loved one and say, hey, this person did a tribute or a memorial for Tiffany. Do you want it taken down or whatever? I mean, who does that? Who goes to a grieving family and bring YouTube drama up? Because if any of the family members would have been on YouTube, they would have heard what Kim and Crafton were saying about their loved one, right? Putting out her personal business. If it, even if it's true, even if she had addictions and that pushed family away, that is nothing for us, that's none of our business. That's not for us to know about. Strangers. Or they would have known that they were putting out that that's what she passed from. When they had no clue. They just found out that she passed away. And then the next day, they were putting this out, Kim was, that it was a fact. It basically was a fact. Knowing that she had a fatal disease. And this fatal disease normally will take somebody, it could be 2 to 7 years, sometimes even earlier, or maybe a couple of years later. It's a lung disease. There is no cure. I don't know when she was diagnosed or, how long she was living with us. And when she says she was on her deathbed, I am just guessing that she was told in the hospital that she was dying, that she was not going to make it, that she was in the end stage. There's different stages. So they knew, but yet they were putting this out as it's a fact, And how do they know that, let's say she might have been, an addict? Because, Crafton was married to her. How did they know that she wasn't in recovery for years? It's been years since he's been with her, right? How do they know that? that she wasn't, in recovery for a while. Because how long has it been since they have actually been around her? Now they can say, well, we talk with people that know her. That doesn't mean jack. Unless you're around somebody and actually you might be talking to people that don't like her. Right? Because they made it clear that they didn't talk to any family members. Until then, they were kind of isolated from the family members. But getting back to this memorial or tribute, who would go to, like I said, grieving family members and tell them, well, someone made a tribute on YouTube and they never talked to him, or, this or that. And this, the family's going to go ballistic. Like I said, if the family was on there, they would have heard what Kim and Crafton were saying about their loved one, and they'd be more pissed off about that than a beautiful tribute to their family member, right? So Crafton got that struck down, and they've been talking about taking Angela's channel down and seeing her in court or whatever. Now, I had to step back and think to myself, what if somebody, that I didn't like or didn't like me would do a tribute to someone that I loved, someone in my family that passed away. Because, sometimes you got to step back and put yourself in someone else's shoes to see how they're feeling, right? So that's what I did, because I'm trying to think logically here too, and try to think about what Kim and Crafton, how are they feeling about this, And that's what I did. I stepped back and thought about that. Well, first off, if somebody I didn't like did a tribute, or didn't like me, did a tribute to my family member, and it was beautiful. There was no ugliness to it. People were pouring out nothing but goodness. There was nothing ugly about it. I wouldn't care if that person or anybody that was given good wishes and good memories or whatever to my family member, I would be okay with it, because it wasn't about me. It's about my loved one that passed away, in their memory. That's how I would look at it. Okay? That's just me. That would be my thinking. It's not about me. It's about my loved one that passed away, their memory, what they're leaving behind for others. But we got to understand, Tiffany was not their family member either. She was no longer Crafton's wife. She was nothing to them anymore. Nothing to Kim at all. And nothing to Crafton, except an ex now. So she was not a family member. But still, they have history, right? So why were they so angry over such a beautiful tribute? Maybe because they didn't do one? Is it over because Crafton produced that music? They didn't do a tribute. They're not gonna do one. I mean, if they did one now, it would be, a little too late, right? She was a part of this community. She made friends here. She did. And she wanted her voice heard because she was brought into this YouTube drama. And she put out her story and let people see some proof that yes, this did happen. This happened to me. No matter what they want to say, this happened to me. So is she supposed to be silenced even after death? Because she was trying to be silenced in life, right? At least that's my opinion. So with that, that's the last I'm going to talk about on my feelings with the tribute. It was beautiful. I don't think there was any negativity for it. It was just because somebody that they did not like did the tribute. And it was in somebody's memory. It was beautiful. I don't know her, but I think anybody that would have a memorial or a tribute like that, I know they're gone. If people believe in God, a heaven, that they would be looking down and really love that. If people don't believe, then they don't. But in my opinion, there was a lot of jealousy going on, and they wouldn't even give her that little bit in death. But they had to say a lot of negative things that we didn't need to know about. Some people that didn't know, even if it was true, and also putting out some of the stuff as fact when she had a fatal disease. So with that, I'm gonna go. I wanted to talk about a few other things, but that kind of lasted longer than I expected. And may Tiffany rest in peace. She had a beautiful, beautiful voice. Beautiful. She passed young. And her last words that she said, just didn't affect some people because, they're still going at it, right? Still going at it. So everyone have a good day. I'm going to do a couple more videos. And next week, like I said, I will get on my little series on domestic violence, and then we'll move forward.